Good morning. It's so quiet in here. Is everybody okay? I mean, it's the end of January, but we have, my gosh, we have such nice weather here. It's just unbelievable sometimes. Sorry, the rest of the country. So, especially the East Coast, but okay. Calendar. We have a new calendar, and of course, the article on the back by Janice with a great big ad about our Healing Light Expo, which is in April. So we have to start pushing that. Volunteers and all that kind of stuff. Can't do it without you. And oh my God, if you've never been to one of these shows, they're pretty doggone amazing. I mean, they really are. We have some people that come back, not only vendors that have been coming back for 10, 15 years, even some of them wouldn't miss it. And they come from all over the state and the region, so that's kind of cool. Things going on this. Hey, we have a chili cook-off today. Woohoo! So everybody likes chili, right? Hope so. Hope so. All right. So that'll be in the back at the end. So, goodness. Marianne's doing her vision workshop on Tuesday. If you want to know more about that, I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to go to do that. So that is a cool one. And let's see, what else is going on during the week? Actually, it's kind of a slow week in some respects, so that's not a bad thing. And then February, all kinds of stuff going on, so read and be square. And thank you, Mary Lou, for doing this, and Ginny for picking it up, wherever Ginny is, so appreciate that. I thought this was kind of nice. Alan Alda, he's 83 years old, so it's like, how does that happen? But apparently he was diagnosed with Parkinson's last year, and I think I found this very interesting. They said, how big of a challenge is that? And it says, I'm not aware of any challenges. I have work to do with the Parkinson's, and I do it. I devote part of my days to working out, exercises, and that kind of thing. But I don't think of these things as challenges, just something interesting to take care of. Kind of interesting. I like that. All right. The Simpsons creator, Matt Groening, named the characters Homer, Marge, Lisa, Maggie after his real-life father, mother, and two sisters. The Simpsons' hometown of Springfield is named after Groening's hometown of Springfield, Oregon. So, how long has that show been on? Like, I don't know, 25 years or something? Janice and I have never watched it. We turned it on a couple of times and never got through. What can I say? We don't watch much TV, actually, so. Things that make you go, The belief that young is the happiest time of life is founded on a fallacy. The happiest person is the person who thinks the most interesting thoughts, and we grow happier as we grow older. So. The habit of being happy enables one to be freed or largely freed from the domination of outward conditions. Robert Louis Stevenson. Huh? Yeah?
Real quick.
Okay.
I was like, I'm busy.
Has to do with food?
Yes. Okay, so we had an amazing turnout for our chili. We've got a lot of chilies to choose from back there, so I hope all of you are going to be staying and judging the chili contest today. I just wanted to let you know how it's going to work, because it's going to be a little bit different than just going back and serving yourself up and dishing your plate. I have cups that are labeled with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. They're going to be in front of each chili. They're going to have, all of them are going to have their numbers. If we run out of cups, please let me know. What you're going to do is you're going to go through the line and you're going to take just a little bit in the cup of each chili. Go have a seat at the table. Judge your chili. Taste each one. Judge it. There's cards on the table with pens. Write the letter of the one that you choose, and then we're going to have you put it in a basket, and then I'll tally everybody up later. Once everybody's finished with judging, then we're going to set out all the rest of the stuff, and you can go back and get bowls of the chili of your choice if you want, or
gluten-free cornbread.
Okay, but we want you to judge. We want you to judge the chili first, and so just a little bit in each cup. The cups are kind of big, but just if you could put a little bit in each cup, that would be great.
When are you going to announce the winner?
While you guys are dishing up the rest of your food and stuff.
People don't know,
People will,
will not know who the winner is, so that everybody doesn't go flocking to the number one.
yes. So once everybody is redished up and sat down, we'll announce the winner and everything, okay? Any questions? Does that make sense? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. No, that's great. Thank you so much for all of your work. I was going to say something this morning. I was walking out, somebody caught my attention, and I never got to you to say, thank you for doing stuff like that. Appreciate it. So, all right, things that make you go, What's interesting, I've been reading from this book for over 20 years, and I just kind of go through it, and I don't do everything, obviously, because some of them are, not good, but some of them are wonderful. What I find interesting is that almost every time I go through the book, I will pick up another one, which I guess means that I'm changing somewhat, or what I value. So, well, maybe not that, but who knows? Something's changed. No one gossips about the other person's secret virtues. He who praises everybody praises nobody. And the one that I picked that I have never picked before is, the vow that binds too strictly snaps itself. And I had to start thinking about that, and I had to read it again, and I read it again, and go, yeah, okay. The vow that binds too strictly snaps itself. So, I like that one too, now. All right, we do have a couple patron saints by the name of George Carlin and John Lennon. And of course, we love the Doobie Brothers. Who starts their services with the Doobie Brothers? Like nobody.
Like we do.
So, yeah, John said, guess what? All you need is love. So, I don't have a fear of heights. I do, however, have a fear of falling from heights. So, yeah, I would put mine in there too. Yep. T-shirts and sweatshirts. People who tolerate me on a daily basis, they're the real heroes. Don't let my motorcycle ride interfere with the safety of your phone call. My people skills are just fine. It's my tolerance of idiots that needs work. I try to be a nice person, but sometimes my mouth doesn't cooperate. And every time I think things can't get any worse, there's an election. That's the one thing about politics. Always politics. Doesn't matter if you're a kid or a grown-up, they're always there and always will be. Chris, age 7, on describing what love is. Love is when mommy sees daddy smelly and sweaty and still says he's handsomer than Brad Pitt. I said that one last week, but I recognize that. Mary Ann, age 4. Love is when your puppy licks your face even after you left him alone all day.
It's because you left him alone all day, he's licking your face.
Yeah. Lauren, age 4. I know my older sister loves me because she gives me all her old clothes and has to go out and buy new ones. After the church service, a little boy told the pastor, "When I grow up, I'm going to give you some money." "Well, thank you," said the pastor, replied, but he said, "Why?" "Because my daddy says you're the poorest preacher we've ever had." I like that one. Actually, Janet and I can't say that because we've been the only ones that have ever been here, so either that's good or bad, I don't know. 2 90-year-old men, Mike and Joe, have been friends all their lives. When it's clear that Joe is dying, Mike visits him every day. One day Mike says, "Joe, we both loved football all of our lives, and we played Sunday football together for so many years. Please do me a favor when you get to heaven. Somehow, you must let me know if there's football there." Joe looks up at Mike from his bed and says, "Mike, you've been my best friend for many years. If it's at all possible, I'll do this favor for you." Shortly after that, Joe passes. At midnight, a couple of nights later, Mike is awakened from a sound sleep by a blinding flash of white lights and a voice calling out to him, Roger, Mike, well, who is it? He asks. Mike, sitting up suddenly, who is it? Mike, it's me. You're not Joe. You just died. I'm telling you, it's me, Joe, insists the voice. Joe, where are you? Well, in heaven, replied Joe. I have really some good news and some bad news. Well, tell me the good news first. The good news, he says, is that there's football in heaven. Better yet, all of our friends who died before us are here, too. Better than that, we're all young again. Better still is there's always springtime and there's never any rain or snow. And best of all, we can play football all we want and we never get tired. Well, that's fantastic, says Mike, and that beyond my wildest dreams. So what's the bad news? You're playing Tuesday. That would do it. I am going to play one. I have so many favorite songs, but this is one of my favorite too. But it is always, since we started the church, it's always been...
Did that go off? Would you read the Great Invocation for us? Apologize, I should have had it ready for you. Should be right here. And then it's not. Maybe you get to choose a different one. If I can't find it really quick.
No. You got it?
Pick one.
There it is. Can we have a moment of silence before she begins our prayer? Just give them a moment just to settle.
The great invitation. From the point of life,
Try again. The Great Invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let the light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. This is channeled by Alice Bailey from the Ascended Master.
Thank you. So I want to chat with you today about the energy constructs that we create. Now, I mentioned a little bit last week about how when we're in our community here and we're all focused on the same thing, that an energy construct is built. And this is a temporary energy construct that is created from our intent and our purposefulness in this moment. And so when we build that with our willingness to serve, willingness to connect, not only to one another but to divine source, then this energy construct is built. And the energy kind of builds and builds and builds. And often in our guided meditation or whatever, you may have a sense or a feeling that there's no ceiling here anymore, and that there's an expanse of the universe and we're connected into that. So too, and then when we dismiss, at the end of our energy circle, when we dismiss, then the energy dissipates out into the community. Well, we also have energy constructs that we build, have built, and we walk in every day. And some of those energy constructs are really not functioning very well. And the more awakened we become, some of those old energy constructs that we thought kept us safe no longer serve. And then they become burdensome. So an old energy construct could be the energy construct of feeling worthless. Or an energy construct of, I have to be really quiet. Don't let anybody see me or hear me. That silence thing. Invisibility. What are some other energy constructs that maybe we created as a child to keep ourselves safe, but don't really affect now? Yes, aren't really helpful.
Ones that could be coping mechanisms, like it's always my fault.
Oh, it's always my fault. Oh, that would be a very powerful energy construct. Because if it's always your fault, then you don't have to wait for anybody to blame you. You don't have to wait for the hit. You're just already in that state of being. What's another one? Yes, sir.
Living up to standards.
Living up to standards. So, again, the good enough, whatever that might look like. Yes, sir?
I can only fail.
I can only fail. I have to either be perfect or I can only fail. Nobody can be perfect, so I have to fail. And those energy constructs were probably formulated when we were 5 or 7, really young. And a 7-year-old's perspective of life is a little different than someone who is mature. But we do that to keep ourselves safe. For me, it was invisibility. I had to be invisible in my family. If you didn't get noticed, you didn't get yelled at. So, quiet. And it was funny that construct worked so well. I could take a childhood picture and take it around when it was current, and people would know who I really looked like. Nobody could find me in the picture. Your eyes would just go right off the picture even. So that invisibility that kept me safe doesn't serve in my life, hasn't served me for a long time. But when those energy constructs get to a point where they don't serve us anymore, we become traumatized because that's all we know. We've had this since we were childhood, and now all of a sudden they're not functioning anymore for us. So we think we failed, or we think we're not good enough, or we think we're bad. And so it carried to its extreme, suicide, because I can't live like that anymore. But it's not working for me anymore, so it must be my fault. And that's what happens with children. If children are abused, they don't go, oh, look, that adult's really whacked out. No, they go, there's something wrong with me, I'm bad. So my parents act out. No, we don't get it. We're not in an adult, mature state of mind to perceive things accurately. Unless you're Phil. Phil had really whacked out parents, and he goes, they're just whacked. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. Of course, Phil's an indigo, and they're kind of different anyway. So a lot of us will have more than one construct, and they support ourselves. So in this situation, I have that construct, and in that situation, I have this construct. And unfortunately, they're so ingrained that you can go from 0 to 60 in a heartbeat. You can go from everything's fine, everything's lovely, to I'm a terrible, worthless human being that fast, because it's been set up, and we just dive down that rabbit hole so fast because the construct is there. So it's time to release those. It's time to let them go. And it's easier to install something new and let something go at the same time than it is to just let something go. Because often we feel too vulnerable or too open or too weak or unsettled without having that structure, some sort of structure. We need that structure. Not sure from the good book, Matthew 6, verse 22. For the lamp of the body is the eye. Therefore, if therefore your eye is clear, your whole body will be full of light. So the eye they're talking about is perception, or perceptions. If we're still carrying around those perceptions that were built to keep us safe in our childhood, then we're not clear. And we don't have the light that we would like to have, that we would like to be inspired and have the excitement of living and moving forward effortlessly. So it's really important to take a good look at the energetic constructs that we have. And it's time to release them and let them go. How do we release them and let them go? Well, first of all, let's look at what to reinstall. If we install something that's more valid and more appropriate, then the other just falls away. It requires no effort to release it at all. So what kind of thing can we reinstall, or what effort, what mental construct can we create, what perception can we create that will support us? Well, it's the truth. But here's the sad thing. When we've carried around these constructs, all our whole lives, that when we face the truth doesn't feel right. The truth feels odd. The truth feels incorrect. So if the truth is you're worthy and you don't feel worthy, then you're going to automatically, out of hand, reject that. So how do we get from this misperception, this construct that has kept us safe till now? Well, not really, but we thought it did. Our perception is that this is who we are and how we are. How can we get to the new truth that we're hoping to embrace? How can we get from there to there? It's hard because we don't want to let go of what we're familiar with. And sometimes it takes a challenge in our life for us to get to the place where we're willing to look at it. This energetic construct will take us so fast out of all okay, I'm fine, everything's working well, to down the rabbit hole of I'm unworthy, I'm worthless, I'm invisible, whatever your particular construct is. It'll take you so fast. It's unbelievable how fast we can go from here to there. And when we look at the truth is this beautiful pathway of light and love. You are love, you are light. And when we look at that, and yet we have all this energetic construct that has supported us, it's hard to look at that. It really is. Because we're not clear in our perceptions yet. So clearing our perceptions will allow us to really notice the truth for what the truth is. As true and accurate and clear. So, depending upon what your construct is, will guide you into your truth. So let's take a look at a few. So the construct of I'm worthless. Is there anyone in this room you could look at and go, oh my gosh, that person is worthless? Anybody here you could? No. So there's no one in this room that is worthless. Can we agree to that? Okay. That means you. So if you have an energy construct of you're worthless, that's untrue. And that has kept you maybe a little aloof, a little distant, so you're not hurt by other people's opinion of you. Okay? But get that. So what is the truth? Rather than saying you're not worthless, what is the truth then? What is the truth? What truth could we call to ourselves and claim for ourselves with a clearer perception? How about you have value? Now, I have value. Can you agree to that? Can you feel the truth of that? And when you can claim that I have value, what happens to the worthlessness? goes away. But here's the thing, I have value is going to take a little bit of energy to build and to create a consistent construct. Make sense? So what happens here is this. When we perceive ourselves as worthless, then any time any situation happens in our world out there, we're going to use that as evidence of our worthlessness. And once we get to the place where we can say, I have value, it's going to take a little while of exploring and allowing that which we are of value about to be revealed to us. It's going to take a bit of time. So in the meantime, we're a little bit, I don't know for sure. But if we perceive, if our eyes are clear, our perception channels are clear, it'll be easier for us to perceive I have value. So when you do talk to somebody and they're encouraged, oh, I have value, rather than saying, oh, I didn't do enough. It's just a shift in perspective. It's just a shift in perception. And yet we get to do that. There's another little verse here. Okay, I'm going to revert to my childhood upbringing in church. How many people remember, wise man built his house upon the rock? Do you know that song? Okay, so now you're going to have that in your head all day like I did. But it's true. You build what you're talking about. Build this. It's a firm foundation. And then the second verse of that, and the rains came tumbling down. Rains came down and the floods came up. Rains came down and the floods came up. Rains came down and the floods came up. And the wise man's house stood firm. And remember about the foolish man? What did he build his house on? The sand. And what happened to his house when the rains came down and the floods came up? Oh, and we always loved to go, and it went smash! We had to make this big smashing sound. The whole class smash. So that's just what's happening as we awaken. All the stuff that we've built on sand from these childhood perceptions, they're smashed. Yay! Hallelujah! It's about time. There's time for that stuff to go. But it takes time to build. And this rebuilding is powerful and worth it. And worth it. Because you're worth it. So what are some other things? Let's get some truths here that we can walk away with. So I have value would be the correlation between this I'm worthless. So what about not good enough? What would be the truth about that?
I am sufficient.
I am sufficient. I'm worthy. You know what my favorite is? She did what she could.
Yeah.
Because then, if I'm doing my best, that's enough. I'm enough. What I do is enough. She did what she could. So what were some of the other ones that we had? The failure and the perfect. What would be the word for that one? What would be the truth? Yes? I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. And the word fearfully there isn't like, oh my gosh. It's awe. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Yes, sir.
When you continue with failure and perfection, I am enough.
I am enough. I am enough. That's why I like, she did what she could. Phil?
I am awesome.
I am awesome. And if you're Phil, all those energy constructs of childhood have gone and you're awesome. Okay, what are some of the other constructs that we have floating around?
I'm the black sheep.
I'm the black sheep. Ooh. Yeah, the rest of us are going, yeah, what problem that would be. How about I'm unique? I'm unique. I get to do it my way. What else? What else have we got lurking around in the shadows there?
I'm stupid.
Oh, see, you know, that was my dad's favorite word for me when I was growing up. All the time, he would say, well, you're just stupid. You're just stupid. And it was because he had a real analytical mind, and I'm a little more creative and a little goofy. Always have been on the goofy side. And so for him, it was just, I didn't know what pliers were or screwdriver. So he could use the term stupid when it was just I was uneducated with that. So, so you know what I use? I know what I know. I don't know that, and I may be stupid about that, but that's just because I don't know about that yet. But I know what I know. I have my own wisdom. What else?
Lack.
Huh?
A sense of lack.
A sense of lack. Prosperity lack, you mean?
Or
That kind of is the not enough. I'm blessed. Everywhere I look, good stuff happens. I'm blessed. You know what I did? I had that same issue years ago. It's the funniest technique. I highly encourage you to do it if you can. Didn't have a lot of money, but I got a $20 bill and I broke it into ones. And I put a $1 bill in the silverware drawer, and I put a $1 bill in my underwear drawer, and I pulled a $1 bill in the sock drawer, and I put a $1 bill in where my cosmetics were, and a $1 bill where my toothbrush was, and a $1 bill in my desk drawer. And so everywhere I opened something, I would go, oh, look, money's everywhere. And your brain, your subconscious doesn't know the difference between a $100 bill and a $1 bill. And sure enough, money's everywhere. I'll find it if I need it. And then I'd hide money for myself, and it'd be there. So money is everywhere. Abundance is everywhere. So when we slip into this new truth, then it's good to have those little techniques to help reinforce that while we're building, because sometimes it takes a while to build that stuff. What else? What else is under there? I can't trust myself. Ooh, I've heard that one recently too. So what would be a support statement for that? I'm learning.
I'm doing fine now.
I'm doing fine now. That works. Huh?
I am faithful.
I am faithful. I'm learning to listen. Because the not trusting is often a result of the insights and awarenesses that were coming through, and I laud them away. And then, oh darn, I should have seen that. I just can't trust myself. No, you really can. So I'm learning to trust myself, or I'm learning to listen. I'm learning to be guided. That grants you the opportunity of growth in that space. Anything else? What else? Yes, ma'am.
Grateful.
Grateful.
And that's the good part of it. But I think a lot of things will fall into that.
Will fall in, yes, gratitude is this like the cement that'll glue it all together. Because gratitude is its own construct. And will support whatever other construct that you have, that you're creating for yourself. Because when we're in that state of gratitude, we're in the flow. And when we're in the flow, we can trust ourselves, we feel smart and intelligent and aware, and we have our own wisdom, and abundance flows to us. And it doesn't matter if we're standing alone, because we're standing in our truth. And ooh, that would be a good one. I'm standing in my truth. That makes sense? So gratitude is a wonderful key for that. Anything else I'm overlooking before we move on? Okay. Need to be right. Oh. Damn. Well, but I need that construct. Do ya? So what would be the support, the new construct for instead of I need to be right?
That's just my truth.
That's just my truth.
I'm thinking, no, I don't.
Yeah. When have I ever? That's my thought. Say what again, Valerie? I value your opinion. We all have insights. I don't have to agree with anyone, but we all have our insights. I get to disagree and still be at peace. Maybe it's I'm at peace. Because when we're at peace, it doesn't matter if other people agree with us or disagree. Shan?
There's so much information that we don't know what's truth anymore in
True.
some cases. So it doesn't matter if they think you're true. It may just be what it is right now, and
And that is their truth, and that's fine.
that's just fine.
I can be at peace with that.
Right, make peace with it.
Yes, sir.
I am open to new ideas.
I'm open to new ideas. Oh, that's good.
That hurts. You don't say.
Good job. I'm glad you have a translator. And you know, there's this wonderful give and take energy that can happen with that. And even if people like to do it differently, you can still be okay. Because when I'm at peace with my truth, my whole family, nobody believes, other than Phil, nobody believes like I do. So they get to believe what they believe. It's okay. Now, I don't have to make them understand me, because they can't. They get to be where they are, and I get to be where I am. And there's room and space enough for both. We're all safe in that. So I want to do a guided meditation today that will really help with this. Let's do communion first, Mr. Phil. Chapter 7 of Matthew, verse 24, I think. Nor should you. All right, communion. This is a sacred ceremony by which we physically manifest this perception of truth. It's this physical receiving of something that has been blessed and honored in your behalf, that honors this sacred truths that we're reclaiming for ourselves. So whether you like the unleavened bread, they're the little squares, or the unleavened bread. Animal crackers, if you want to honor Native American pathway, and the cup is gluten-free. Whatever works for you works for us. And if you join us in prayer, please. Loving Spirit of Light, as we consume this, help us to take in the truth, the real truth of who we are, the real truth of your love for us. We ask that you walk with us in all things. These things we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen. As that continues around, would you join us in prayer again, please? Loving Spirit of Light, as we drink this in, help us to drink in the truth of who we really are. Help us to drink in this truth and live it fully, open-heartedly, with love and gratitude. These things we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.
In Native American traditions, there is no extreme, there is no perfection, there is no failure. We walk the circle of life, all on the circle of life, seek truth. This is a place where we can seek truth. And to do so, it requires some logistics. So give if you can, a prayer, an amount, whatever seems appropriate in your heart.
Thank you, sir. If you have a specific energy construct that maybe you don't want to speak about it out loud or whatever in front of a group of people, if you want to chat with me after church, I'd be happy to help you find the words that will assist you. I want us to go someplace a little different.